3, 4, 17. Canto 3, chapter 4, text 17. It's a continuation of your reading, of your Bhagavatam reading. So, Canto 3, chapter 4, text 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat nastapraeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhakti bhavati naistiki. So, Canto 3, chapter 4, text 17. And we will start with words, Sanskrit words. Mantreshu,
Mantreshu,
mam,
Mam,
vai,
Vai,
upa, huya,
Upahuya,
yat,
Yat,
tvam,
Tvam,
akuntita,
Akuntita,
akhanda,
Akhanda,
tada,
Sada,
atma,
Atma,
bodha,
Buddha,
viche,
Viche,
prabho,
Prabhu,
mugdha,
Mugda,
iva,
Eva,
apramata,
Apramata,
tat,
Tat,
na,
Na,
mana,
Mana,
mohayati,
Mohayati,
va,
Eva,
deva.
Deva,
Mantreshu mam va upahuya yatvam.
Mantreshu Mamba Upahuyayatvam,
Akuntita kanda sadatma bodha.
Akuntita Kanda Sadatma Bodha,
Viche prabho mugdha iva pramattas.
Viche Prabhu Mugda Iva Pramatas,
Tanno mano mohayati vadeva.
Tanno Nomo Ayiti Vadeva,
Mantreshu mam va upahuya yatvam.
Mantreshu Mamba Upahuyayatvam,
Akuntita kanda sadatma bodha.
Akuntita Kanda Sadatma Bodha,
Viche prabho mugdha iva pramattas.
Viche Prabhu Mugda Iva Pramatas,
Tanno mano mohayati vadeva.
Tanno Mano Mahayati Vadeva, Mantreshu Mamba Upahuyayatvam,
Mantreshu Mamba Upaham Yatvam,
Akuntita Kanda Sadatma Bodha,
Antika Kandanda Sadatma Buddha,
Viche Prabhu Mugda Iva Pramatas,
Vache Prabhu Mudab Eva Pramatas,
Tanno Mano Mohayati Vadeva,
Tanno Namo Mahayat Ativa Deva, Mantreshu Mamba Upaheya Yatvam,
Mantreshu Mamba Upahuyayatvam,
Antikanda Sadatma Buddha,
Akuntita Kanda Sadatma Buddha,
Preya Prabhu Munda Eva Pramatas,
Priche Prabhu Mugda Iva Pramatas,
Tanno Namo Mohayati Vadeva,
Tanno Mano Mohayati Vadeva,
Mantreshu.
Mantreshu,
In consultations.
in consultations,
Mam,
Mam,
unto me
unto me
by
by
as either
as either
upahuya,
upahuya,
by calling
by calling
yat
yat
as much as
as much as
tvam
tvam,
your lordship
your lordship,
akuntita
akuntita,
without hesitation
without hesitation,
akanda
akanda,
without being separated
without being separated,
sada
sada,
eternally
eternally,
atma
atma,
self
self,
bodha
bodha,
intelligent
intelligent,
priche
priche,
asked
asked,
prabhu
Prabhu,
O my lord
O my Lord,
mugdha
Buddha,
bewildered
bewildered,
eva
Eva,
as if it were so
as
as it were so,
apramata
apramata,
although never bewildered
although
although
never
never
bewildered,
bewildered,
that
that,
now
now,
our
our
mana
mana,
mind
mind,
mohayati
moayati,
bewilders
bewilders,
eva
Eva,
as it is so
as it is so,
eva
Deva,
O my lord
O my Lord,
O my sweet lord okay translation O my lord your eternal self is never divided by the influence of time and there is no limitation to your perfect knowledge. Thus you were sufficiently able to consult with yourself, yet you called upon me for consultation as if bewildered, although you are never bewildered. And this act of yours bewilders me. Purport. Uddhava was never actually bewildered, but he says that all these contradictions appear to be bewildering. The whole discussion between Krishna and Uddhava was meant for the benefit of Maitreya, who was sitting nearby. The Lord used to call Uddhava for consultation when the city was attacked by Jarasandha and others, and when he executed great sacrifices as part of his routine royal work as Lord of Dwaraka. The Lord has no past, present, and future because he is unhampered by the influence of eternal time, and thus nothing is hidden from him. He is eternally self-intelligent. Therefore, his calling for Uddhava to give him enlightenment is certainly astonishing. All these actions of the Lord appear to be contradictory, although there is no contradiction in the routine activities of the Lord. Therefore, it is better to see them as they are and not attempt to explain them. Om Aignanatimidandasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamine Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskyate Adesha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 4, text 17. And Mother Malini, when she was inviting me to this class, she wrote there, I think, in the email, in the message, that it is fun. It's fun, this verse. And it seems like a joke, this verse, in a sense, because here we get to know that God, the Lord, seems to act in a confusing or bewildering way, because he invites someone to ask him for advice. At the same time, he should know everything. He should know the past, the present, and the future. So he seems bewildered. And also, the speaker here is saying about himself that he is bewildered. And then Shah Prabhupada in the last sentence of the purport is saying that it's like better to see these activities of the Lord as they are and not try to explain them. So it's all kind of confusing. Everyone seems to act in a confusing, bewildering way, and like we should see it as it is, and that's the end, kind of. So, so it looks like a joke. At the same time, we can we can approach it with a more inquisitive spirit, let's say. So Prabhupada is explaining here that Uddhava was never actually bewildered. So it reminds me of Bhagavad Gita. So like the discussion between Arjuna and Krishna, right? Arjuna is bewildered, and Krishna is giving him advice, guidance on what to do. At the same time, we should understand that Arjuna was playing a game. He was playing a game in order for us to get Krishna's guidance. So he was playing the role of a bewildered conditioned soul for our benefit. So it seems that here the topic is quite the same. So the discussion between Krishna and Uddhava was for the benefit of Maitreya. So Krishna was speaking for the benefit of someone else. So that's the first point. So it looks like the topic of Bhagavad Gita, kind of the same dynamic repeats in this verse. Yes, and then it's mentioned here the time factor. So Lord's eternal self is never divided by the influence of time. So that means that the Supreme Self remains the same, unchanged by time. So it was the same in the past, it's the same in the present, and it will be the same in the future also. That's in contrast with our body, right? Because our body was different in the past, our body is different in the present, and it will be different in the future. In Bhagavad Gita, it said, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna pavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. So there Krishna directly says, I'm the knower of past, present, and future. So we can have some idea of what it means to be knower of the past. At least we can think of it. It's like the knowledge of everything that happened in the past. That makes sense. Like I think we can at least think about it in some way, because we have some very limited remembrance of the past. Well, our remembrance might not be what actually happened. At the same time, we have some capacity to do that. We can have some understanding of the present, and we can just like think about the future, or have some ideas about the future. but the Lord, he knows the future in full. So he knows what will happen in the future too. So we can maybe try to understand it. It's like a father and a child. So a child has some small independence. The child can play with toys and stuff. So we are like the child, right? At the same time, the father, through his understanding, knowledge, experience, can basically say what the child will be doing in the future. So what the child will do, that the child will cry, that the child will do that and this, because the consciousness of the father is much more developed than the consciousness of the child. So we could say, in a simplified way, that the father knows what the child will do. So at least by this example, we can try to understand how Krishna knows the future. So it's not just like, if I do this, then Krishna knows what happens. It's like Krishna knows what I will do, because that's the definition of understanding the future, and that's beyond our understanding, and it can be confusing or bewildering to us. And that's the issue. If I try to understand someone or something that has more developed consciousness than me, I cannot basically understand him or her. If I want to understand a rock, I have a good chance to have a good understanding of a rock, or I can have pretty good understanding of a dog, right? Right. But my understanding of the higher personalities, like the demigods, and what to speak of the supreme absolute truth, will always remain limited. And that means that some or all activities of the Lord will be confusing for me. Yeah, and basically, at some point or in the beginning, I need to accept that the Supreme Lord is simply unconceivable. And that's the platform from which I can understand. I can understand what? Like in the beginning of the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Mai asaktamana parta yoga munjan madashraya asamsayam samagraman yata jnasa sita chernu. So Krishna promises that we can understand him in full. So samagram, in full. So Krishna is saying that. So what's that mean, right? And also, like, the way I think about it, it's like a bottle of milk. Let's say I can say the bottle or the glass. The glass is full of milk. Okay, so the glass is full. So at the same time, that does not mean that the glass contains all the milk on the planet, right? So I can be full with understanding, full with knowledge. That's what Krishna promises. At the same time, that does not mean that I'm the full knower of the past, present, and future. I can basically understand my field of activities, and my field of activities is limited, and Krishna's field of activities is unlimited. So that's the full understanding thing. So I should have enough understanding that my faith is strong, so I can progress in my self-realization, God realization. So it's like, let's say, driving a car, right? I don't have full understanding of how the car works. I cannot create the car, but I have some understanding. So that understanding creates faith. I have some faith that if I try to drive to, let's say, Switzerland from here, I have a good chance to get there by the car. So I can engage in the process of driving a car. So we should have enough understanding to have strong faith. And here in the purport, Prabhupada is saying it's like we don't need to explain them. So we don't need to have the full understanding of how, right? It's like that we are asking how is this, how is that? In my business, like many people search on Google or ask like how to invest, right? How to invest. At the same time, like maybe less people ask, that's my guess, like why should I invest, or what's the sense, what's the goal? So in the material nature, we tend to be caught with the how questions. These are the questions of the Shudras often, like how to do this, how to do that, blah blah blah. And as spiritualists, we can ask better questions. We can ask why questions. So why questions are about the purpose. So about the purpose of life. It's like sometimes we speak about the clear intention. So clear intention is about what? What's the goal? What's the vision? What's the state of being? It's about connecting with the state of being. And then how is not really important. Like the way to get from the point I'm at now to my vision, I can take so many ways I can. And if I don't know the way, I can ask someone, I can solve that. It seems that more important for personal growth and for life is to understand or to have a response, answer to the question of like what or why. What's the goal? So I can understand myself, and I can understand the goal, and then the how is it's also an important question, but it's not the only question. So, and to answer to the question of why, I need philosophy. It seems that that's the purpose of philosophy, to answer the question of why. So I've been thinking about like what is the desirable philosophy. I think that like such a philosophy should be practical, so I can incorporate the philosophy as a part of my life. Also, it should be experientially fulfilling now and in the future. Now that means I stay with it, and in the future that I'm experiencing enough hope in order to progress. In order to progress, it also should be simple to follow. At least it should be feasible. So standing in a cold water for the whole day, probably not. It also should be inclusive. So that means like everyone can join. So it's not like for separate, for just a limited amount of people. From my perspective, it should also solve the issues of life. The issues of life are birth, death, old age, and disease. And the last two things that I've noted down, it should be experientially true. So when I'm engaged in the process, my experience should correspond to the teachings of the philosophy. And it should be also logically true. So it should make sense in my intelligence, in my mind, in my cognitive mind. So, and it seems that Krishna consciousness fulfills all these, all these requirements that I've came up with. So Krishna consciousness answers the question of why. And here in the verse, we are reading a lot about confusion, about bewilderment. So we can say that bewilderment is a feeling, it's a state of the heart, maybe state of the mind. It's an experience, and it can be a feeling, an emotion that comes and goes, and it can be also a favorite grungy. So I can use the bewilderment in order to try to gain something, right? To try to gain avoidance from responsibilities, to avoid pain, maybe, and so many other things probably. And how to heal it? So how to heal bewilderment? It's like, okay, so what's the cause? What's the cause of it? And Bhagavad Gita says the cause is thinking about objects of the senses. And then when I'm thinking about the objects of the senses, I start to emotionally depend on that sense enjoyment. And from that sense enjoyment, there is lust, there is greed, there is anger, and there is bewilderment too. So that's the cause. If I look in my life, like the period of my life when I was experiencing the most bewildered was probably like in those first weeks or first months of partnership. So let's say living with my girlfriend or early wife, and that's that's maybe the typical period to experience the bewilderment. because the contemplation about the sense enjoyment is very strong. And how to heal this? It seems that a way to heal this is to say truth in the relationship, or to like express truth at least, because truth is like understanding, and understanding is the opposite of bewilderment. So saying truth, okay, saying truth to who, right? Because it might be uncomfortable, it might be painful. It, at least before I say truth, it's painful. So that's the arrangement of marriage, right? I commit myself that I stay with you for the rest of my life. You commit yourself that whatever happens, I will not, or you will not run away. And that creates the container, so we can start speaking truth, because we are safe. It's like we are committing ourselves to stay until the end of the seminar. So yes, so that's the advantage of the container of marriage that I wanted to mention. And here in the text, we get to know like that Lord is, he is the supreme absolute truth. So truth, that means that in any way, at any time, he cannot be bewildered, he cannot be confused, because the truth is himself. It's like the fire. It's like the fire, so there is no darkness in the presence of fire. So I will close here. So text 17. Mantreshu mamva upahuya yatvam akuntita kanda sadatma bodha preche prabho mugdha iva pramata stanno mano mohayati vadeva. O my Lord, your eternal self is never divided by the influence of time, and there is no limitation to your perfect knowledge. Thus you were sufficiently able to consult with yourself, yet you called upon me for consultation, as if bewildered, although you are never bewildered. And this act of yours bewilders me. Thank you for listening. And now is the time, if you want to share, you are very welcomed to share, to ask questions, and I'm listening. Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Yogesvara. I haven't seen you in a while, so it's really nice to see you online. I enjoyed your class. I wanted to speak a little bit about the past, present, and future, because you were saying there's no such thing as that time for the Lord. And so for me, it's like unfathomable to know that the Lord is expanded enough that he's having his past activities, he's having his future activities, and he's experiencing his future. So that's why there's perfect knowledge in my mind, is that because he's actually present in that moment and each what we would consider time, but he has no reference to time because he's actually like actively engaged in his service at that present moment. And so that sounds like, to me, like so inviting to have a relationship with the Lord, because if I invite him to have that presence with me at this present moment, that's so powerful. Then to think, oh, I'm reading a pastime, which I love to do as well, but it's also like really staying engaged, like really having the knowledge that he is here with us now, presently with your class and with us together, gathered in his name. I love that phrase, even two or more gathered in his name. It just feels so enlivening and just really protective and sacred. And so I was appreciating that part of the purport. And so I wanted to express that because I feel it's very safe when I read that, when I know that he's just present with me now, and he's present with his cowherd boyfriends and the gopies and whoever, with whatever that relationship looks like in the future, like he's always present. So that's what I wanted to share. That's what I was getting from this verse when you were speaking. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing, Anne. Also, nice to see you after a while. You are feeling enlivened, you are feeling safe, protected by this understanding that the Lord is present in all aspects of time and in all places. Yes, nice. And also present in the future. That's like the connection you made between the full knowledge and the presence in all the three aspects of time.
I feel understood. And I also, as you were saying that, it also gives me peace to not worry about the future, like what's going to happen tomorrow, because he's going to be there. And so I don't have to worry. I can give all that to Krishna because I know he's going to be present. Like
Nice.
what it looks like.
Yeah, that's like maybe the only thing we can count on, right? That the Lord will be there.
Yes.
If we choose to experience him or approach him.
Yeah, I like not having to be concerned about not calling out to the Lord only in despair or only in sadness or only in great joys. I feel like just knowing that he's there to experience everything with me. So that's what the comfort brings for me, is just, yeah, he's there. Like we were saying, like daily routine. Like, so that's, to me, like there's no contradiction in the routine activities of the Lord. So it feels like even my routine activities, he's there engaged with me in that service. And so it doesn't have to be a high or a low. It can just be everyday activity.
Yeah.
Sounds to be special, like dressing and bathing with the deities today. So, yes.
Yeah, his presence is not dependent on your feelings or experience or consciousness.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
I like this point, and also, yeah, it's very enlivening and it's a nice meditation. And I'm thinking like also he's present in all his relationship and in all his different forms that reciprocate with the relationship we want to have with him.
Thank you for sharing this inspiration. Like his simultaneous ever presence in all relationships, in all forms, in like every small part of the universe, of course, the material universe and the spiritual sky.
And he's constantly communicating with us.
If we choose to listen.
No, he's communicating. Yeah. We may not hear,
yeah.
But he's always communicating with us in his form as Paramatma.
Paramatma, yes.
I really appreciate. Oh, sorry. Well, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, please.
I really appreciated your class and the philosophical, like looking at philosophy, responding to question that's not how. And how the question how is so, in a sense, it's there systematically and maybe supporting us to avoid the why or the what. And I really appreciate that, you know, or who, why, who I am, what's the purpose of human life, why am I alive? And, you know, how to be alive. Okay, you work, you make money, you have a house, you feed yourself. So the house seems to be, in a sense, part of Maya's tricks.
Yes, nice. It feels like the how is like in the box. So I'm in the box, and then I'm like trying to figure out like how to survive in the box. Yes, yeah, and like we can spend the whole life just thinking about the how, you know, how to earn money, how to make, I don't know, children happy, how to like do that, do this, and we are missing the why, or like what's the goal, what's the purpose, and these really important questions. And there is no modern science which can respond or answer even the question of why, because it's like outside of the modern science. The modern science can try to describe the material nature. Even just description is quite difficult. And like this with the imperfect senses, it's full of cheating and limitations. So even the description is imperfect. So, but it can be like, if I understand the what or why, then the imperfection does not really matters in a sense, because I don't know what's the goal, and I'm doing my 100% to achieve the goal, like within the box, within the material context, and then the material context does not really matter anymore. If I'm connected with the what. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it seems that if people were asking themselves every day why I'm doing what I'm doing, I think it will really make a big transformation in the world, like a huge transformation just by one question. Because like I see in coaching, like people are really challenged by, why do you want to make money? Well, was that you're supposed to do that? Why you want your kids to be happy? Like so many. And if just by that transformation of consciousness, of asking that question, the world will be probably slowing down. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like it leads to the distraction of the false ego, right? Why? Oh no, because my false ego is like, I'm exposed, right?
It helps the protection of our false ego to really act like I'm protecting my false ego. I'm taking a stand for my false ego. I think Pampa something.
Because for people to ask why, and it seems that people are really discouraged from asking why. And because the people who do ask why, and that's like anxiety, existential crisis, and then it's like, okay, we'll give you medications. So you don't need to worry about. You don't need to worry about why. Just keep doing how.
Be a robot.
Yeah, because that's what it seems that. Once you start asking those questions, why, and people kind of can go into like depression, anxiety, hopelessness, kind of void, sure. Without any kind of positive spiritual
existential anxiety.
Yeah, right.
So it's better to keep going and be blind. Like like when you go to a horse race, the horse never asks, why should I run? It's the same thing with a football player.
Yeah.
Why should I run after that ball?
That's money.
It's like searching for the bliss, for the experience, right? We are searching for the experience always, like for the independence, safety, eternity, knowledge, understanding, bliss, fun. We want to experience fun. So that's there. At the same time, like we search it at the wrong places, or like misleading places, frustrating places. So that's like the football player, right? I can understand it. It's fun, you know. So there is some experience that I search. At the same time, you know, the question is like, why I want to experience this even, and then I can ask further to like achieve like the self-realization. Hare Krishna. Are there any more sharings, questions, realizations, parallels?
Hare Krishna, Yogesvara Prabhu. I also you mentioned about marriage and the commitment, you know, about marriage, and that's was actually very alive for me recently, and that was so that really that container very much came into play of like, yeah, okay. And I shared a video, and it's kind of related to what you're just saying. I found this video that was very helpful to me, but it's, you know, it's Jordan Peterson, and it actually helped me. And it was similar to what you're expressing, like that container, like, yeah, like it creates the space to do uncomfortable work or uncomfortable truths and uncomfortable, because I made this commitment and I'm sticking to it, and like we're stuck together, you know, more or less. We're stuck together.
You were tied together when you took your vows
We're
together.
tied together. Yeah. We're actually tied together, and so, but yeah, it's very powerful. It actually, my experience is it's very powerful and transformative to face that and to honor that commitment and to like really value it, hold it as sacred. And also makes me think of, you know, the spiritual vow also to Srila Prabhupada, you know, initiation. And I feel like I can feel similarly tied together or stuck with like Srila Prabhupada. It's kind of like, well, maybe you know, when I'm feeling weak, it's like, oh, maybe I should just, you know, I start playing out. What would that look like if I just, you know, kind of like if I play out, like, what if I left my wife? What if I was a divorce? I start playing that out in my mind and then going with it. It's like, well, what if I just left Srila Prabhupada, you know? But it's like, but similarly, I feel like, well, I'm stuck. I'm like tied here eternally, and then that's transformational. That's my experience. That's transformational because it's like, okay, well, no matter what, no matter how weak I am, I'm gonna stay. I'm here. Like I'm not going anywhere. So no matter how weak I am, and no matter how fallen I am, or how matter, you know, I'm resistant or whatever, I'm you know, I'm honoring that commitment. I'm not going away. I'm gonna be tied here, stuck here. And so it's a powerful, you know, I just really, you brought that up for me, and I've just experienced it recently in both those ways, marriage and in relationship to Srila Prabhupada, and experienced the power and transformative of that container of like sacred commitment and yeah, being stuck together.
Thanks, yeah. Thank you very much for sharing your joy in bondage. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. And I have the same, like similar experience, like in with my wife, right? Like she's there, and maybe I have the benefit that she has some understanding that what I'm sharing is about myself and not about herself, which helps. At least it speeds up the process. So yeah, and like as you said, like I commit myself. Okay, I've made a choice, and I'm with this box, like with this structure, and let's see how I can act, how I can respond, like within the protective structure. I can share, like actually I was thinking about my sister. My sister lived with her boyfriend for about, I don't know, it was like 7-8 years, and like after that they got married, and they divorced after a year of marriage. So, and actually Jordan Peterson uh, discusses that too, because it's like if I'm not in marriage and I live with someone in a partnership, I still can live with the thought that okay, you are like you are not very good, you are kind of lame, disgusting, broken and stuff, and I can leave you if I want to, but up until now I did not find anyone better, so I'm waiting and I'm here with you. That's like the partnership without marriage. And when the marriage comes, it's like, oh, now I'm stuck, you know. So so the the mind, the false ego wants to escape. And if I divorce myself, like it's a choice I can do, and there are definitely cases, like specific cases, which I can think about that are growth promoting in a sense. But generally, I'm losing like the chance to stay within the structure, within the safe structure that helps me to like express my truth, express that I feel shame, I feel guilty, I feel kind of bad, I feel angry, and all these things, and then we can sort these things out. So my sister ended up with a new partner, but now she's like, quote, smarter. I don't think that she will get into marriage with the second one. And then you can live the whole life without any self-realization. You're just stuck, basically. So that's the sadness. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I appreciate that that perspective on marriage, and then yeah, just for me, it very much relates to relationship with Srila Prabhupada and with making commitment and taking initiation, and because yeah, I can feel similar things, like, oh, maybe I regret, or I wish I wouldn't have committed. I'd have more freedom if I didn't commit.
Yeah.
I'd be able to do more things. I wouldn't have this guilt or shame if I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing or whatever. I'd have more options, and that's totally what happens with marriage too. Is just like, yeah, I regret, I'm stuck, and so yeah, it's very similar. And then like you said, like by chasing freedom, and Jordan Peterson talks about that, like, yeah, you end up miserable, and yeah, so with same thing with spiritual life, yeah, just kind of, okay, maybe not make that commitment and dabble around and play the field, so to speak, and be a bachelor, whatever it may be, like then yes, losing the opportunity for like real committed self-realization. So yeah, I appreciate that.
It seems that if we broaden that perspective, like the lack of commitment to life in general, that the modern society like take away, like the godless society, modern godless society, take away the opportunity for self-realization for everything. You know, make everything easy. Like if you're sick, you get a pill because you're not going to feel the pain. And you know, like if you know, like, and there is intoxication here for you, and you know, there is entertainment and cinema and
Contraceptives.
contraceptives, and there is everything kind of to avoid the process of life, and then to prevent life to do its work. And it seems that it's more and more like each year. Like I'm reading the autobiography of Saint Teresa of Avila, and it's 1550, 1500, and everything is centered around God. At least in Spain, the whole society or family, like the kids play, and what they want is to develop virtue. That's their goal. And when they were playing as children, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, they were thinking of the martyr or the people who go in crusades or things like that as their heroes. And really, a martyr means like someone who embraces suffering for the sake of coming too close to God. And it's so far away from, don't even have any pain, like the system, like I'm just looking at medicine because I'm hearing a lot about medicine lately and the science behind it. And it's so much like make sure that you don't have the process of life. And same thing with depression, like all those existential anxiety, they're so wonderful because they are leading to the why. They are bringing the why, but they are leading also to be with the why and consider that, just like the commitment to life is also God. Commitment, like I'm here, whatever happened, I'm here.
Yeah, it's like
Not that we have choice.
it's like there is an endless demand for the strategies for survival.
Avoiding pain.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
being right, looking good, appearing, keeping the appearance of control, right? All of them. It's like the full box of chocolate. So thank you very much for this, my early afternoon and your
Yogesvara, I think Kim
morning.
had a question. Kim, did you set up a question?
Okay.
Oh, it's funny. I don't think I did, but I did want to say, I just appreciated Parampara's phrase that like we're spiritual. If you don't commit, you're spiritual bachelorettes or bachelors. It's such a good analogy. It really hit home for me. I just want to appreciate that. And thank you, Yogesvara, for your class. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you all for your presence and nice morning. Haribo Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Haribo.
Krishna.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you.
I didn't make any for breakfast, but I have toast and bananas and I don't know what's on the bottom.